look fucking cooler if I get my toothpick. Looks so much cooler when Chow Yun Fat does this. Don't give me that look. Don't look at me like that. I dress like this all the time. You know I dress like this all the time. I don't know what to do with this toothpick. I don't know how Chow Yun Fat does this. It's a celebration, yet again. Motherfuckers, welcome to the channel. I am Chow Yun Numb Nuts. And it's just celebration after celebration. 2025 is just off to such a wonderful start. Not only did my Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday shipment finally land, but on top of that, what's more is that on that very same day, we received an announcement of incredible magnitude. So it's time to celebrate yet again, motherfuckers. Does he drink with the toothpick in? Does he leave? Does he take the toothpick out to drink? And do I put it back in? Let's try leaving it in. I guess that works, but oh well. You know, for a long time, the rights to some absolute classic bangers of Hong Kong cinema have been denied to the United States and other territories, but most importantly, the United States, because I don't give a fuck about the UK. But I'm happy to announce the good news is that's all over now. 2025 off to a fucking great start. The conspicuous absence of films like John Woo's The Killer, Hard Boiled, the Better Tomorrow trilogy have now been negotiated. A license has been issued to an American company. Way to go, US. Yay. Got something to celebrate on July 4th at the very least. We're going to be getting these movies. We're going to be getting movies like City on Fire. Will no longer be denied its luscious 4K that it so justly deserves, along with those movies that I just mentioned and, I don't know, 150 others. The films of Golden Princess have now been unlocked. Fucking Americans fucking colonizing the shit out of that Golden Princess library of films. These films were absolute favorites of mine when I was a teenager. You know, you rewind the clock back to the mid 90s, and this was the shit. This was, I mean, it's still the shit, but it was the shit. I mean, to me, there was nothing like them being made in the United States until they actually paid John Woo to come over and make a Hollywood film like Broken Arrow and Face Off. And then they kind of were making them like that. But even then, Broken Arrow, Face Off, they were great fun, but they never quite reached the heights of shit like The Killer and Hard Boiled. You know, as great as Face Off was, nothing would scratch that itch like The Killer. He fucking comes in all decked out. He's got his fucking sunglasses on, even though it's nighttime. I can't see shit right now. I'm fucking poking my gums with this stupid fucking toothpick. I'm probably gonna bleed when I brush my teeth later. Anyway, Mission Impossible 2 is pretty well hated, but I actually like that movie. I know it's like a blast for me, but fuck it. It's a John Woo film. It came out in 2000. I was young and dumb, and I liked stupid movies back then. I didn't have any fucking taste. I hadn't developed any taste yet, so I still like it, and that's not something I'm ashamed to admit. And a lot of people these days, they don't remember. A lot of young people, a lot of you, what's wrong with you kids these days? Y'all don't remember that mid-90s renaissance of Hong Kong cinema. I mean, I'll give Tarantino a lot of credit here. I think, you know, his shit was popping off real hot in the early to mid 90s. He had Reservoir Dogs in 92, Pulp Fiction hit hard as fuck in 94. So, you know, people were like, suddenly, all of a sudden, they were open to, you know, this like cool, hip, alternative kind of indie cinema. And obviously, studios like Miramax and shit, they wanted to keep selling tickets. So, what's a motherfucker to do? I think that really primed the US audience for Hong Kong cinema shit. I think, you know, Tarantino with his early films really kind of got all of our pussies wet for Hong Kong cinema shit. And DVDs just starting to pop off in the mid to late 90s. And all of a sudden, all this stuff is super available, super accessible to people in the United States. Rumble in the Bronx hit in 95. Jackie Chan shot to stardom. You know, there was about a decade there where that man could do no wrong. Rumble in the Bronx and John Woo's Broken Arrow actually were released in the same goddamn month here in the United States. They were kicking off a renaissance here, at least in the West. That's the shit people don't really talk about these days. You know, it wasn't some coincidence that shit happened. Hollywood made a concerted effort to import Hong Kong cinema to the U.S. domestic marketplace. And I think it was a direct response to the popularity of indie and alternative cinema that was kind kind of a direct response to like the glitz and glam and synth of the 80s, just like grunge music, you know what I mean? Tarantino was cool as fuck and he vouched for Hong Kong cinema, so we got some fucking Hong Kong cinema. And obviously I'm dressed like an asshole because I watch Hong Kong cinema as a testament to my love of John Woo, is that I had a $500 suit made. I got a fucking toothpick in my mouth right now. I'm fucking, my wife uses these to test the muffins that we make for the kids. I never fucking walk around with a toothpick in my mouth, trying to drink beer with a toothpick in my mouth. That's dumb as shit. Thanks a lot, John Woo. But it does look kind of cool. I look cool, a little bit cooler than I like 10% cooler than normal. And I really think that the whole like Hong Kong import cycle peaked with the first Matrix film. I think that was kind of the high water mark. And you know, while they still continue to do some things, you know, Jackie Chan and Jet Li continued to make movies after 1998, successful into the mid 2000s at least. You know, before they fucked back off to Hong Kong. But I really think that first Matrix film was kind of the peak. That was the high watermark. There was some other good stuff made after that, but I think after that it was kind of like, all right, we busted our nut and we're kind of toweling off and we're trying to decide if we want to keep doing this. And we'll probably bust a few more, but we're extricating ourselves from this whole particular rendezvous, this tryst. You know what I'm saying? I think the influence of Hong Kong cinema did wane in the US in the years that followed The Matrix. I think over the next like 5 to 7 years was kind of the downshot of that. I mean, but we still got, look, Jet Li still made some incredible films in the United States for the US market after The Matrix. So, you know, I'm not downplaying what happened after The Matrix, because for sure, I think the bulk of Jet Li's US domestic oeuvre came after The Matrix. And we all know, don't pretend like you're not watching Romeo Must Die or Cradle to the Grave. Fucking X gonna give it to you. When that comes on, you're watching it. So I just, you know, I say all that because I don't want us to forget how the latter half of the 90s were absolutely fucking replete with incredible Hong Kong cinema films, shit being brought over, as well as new shit that was being made here in the US domestically. It was great. And so, you know, with this deal to acquire the licensing rights to Golden Princess Studio, Shout Studios is going to bring all of their films, 156 titles in all, the entirety of the Golden Princess library. I can't talk with this fucking thing in my mouth. I tell you what, it's very distracting. Is it distracting for you? It's very distracting for me. I'm committed. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pretend like I do this every day. This is just something I do now because we're going to get the fucking killer in 4K, motherfucker. I finally get to ditch these fucking DVDs. There's a picture bigger, but look, I got this shit in like 1999. There's Chinese writing all over this motherfucker. This is a 26-year-old DVD. This DVD is older than half you fucking motherfuckers. I got the killer. Look at that. You know why? Because I bought this in 2002 and I was too cheap to get Criterion Collection. And fucking Hard Boiled, I wasn't too cheap to get this one on Criterion Collection, motherfucker. But guess what? I get to dump all those in the fire behind me. I'm going to light my fucking cigarette with these old fucking DVDs, like Chow Yun Fat lighting the cigarette with the $100 bill. I'm going to use my fucking Criterion Hard Boiled to light my next fucking cigarette. I haven't smoked a cigarette since 2005, probably. Smoked about everything else, but never tobacco. Anyway, the only bad news about this whole deal is that it's Shout Studios and not somebody like Arrow Video or 88 Films. I mean, I do love what 88 Films has done with their Jackie Chan releases on 4K, the 4K for like Project A, Super Cop, Dragons Forever. I mean, all of those are just super, super deluxe. Very, very nice presentation on those. You can really tell that a lot of care and effort went into those. And I don't feel like Shout is going to put quite the same level of care into like individual releases. I mean, maybe for something like The Killer and Hard Boiled, a Better Tomorrow trilogy, but I'm worried that, you know, we're just going to get like a weird box set, kind of like the Supernatural Shockers shit, or like the even worse, that hodgepodge of unrelated movies and shining stars. Like, you know, they're going to throw something like Hard Boiled into a box set with 6 other movies that you've never heard of and you don't give a fuck about, and they're going to sell the thing for $110 and go fuck yourself. If you want Hard Boiled, you better buy that fucking box set. I'm worried Shout's going to do some shit like that. We're just gonna get some fucked up grab bags of random shit, and not like the really deluxe. I want like a deluxe killer box set of just that movie with maybe a couple of the different cuts presented to me with a lot of exhaustive special features. Hopefully, Shout will at least not cut any corners on the special features. I mean, Shout does usually tend to include on most of their 4K presentations some pretty good special features, usually several commentaries. We got 2 versions of Silent Night, Deadly Night on the recent 4K release of that. Although one of the motherfuckers wasn't in 4K, it was in Blu-ray. And I hope they don't pull that shit here with these movies, because these movies, this is shit I grew up with, and this shit is important to a lot of people and not just me. Shout also, they don't really do the 100-page booklets with scholarly essays the way that, Criterion does. I was really kind of hoping Criterion might get the rights back to The Killer and Hard Boiled. I feel like last year Criterion really made a concerted effort to put some films back into print that had long been out of print. Things like Peeping Tom, Story of Floating Weeds. What else did they put back in print? The Long Good Friday. So, I mean, Criterion put back into print. So, I mean, especially with The Long Good Friday. Jesus Christ, how long had that been out of print? 20 years? I've been out of print for a long time, at least 20 years. That shit was out of print when I first started collecting Criterions back in like 2004. What I'm trying to say is that it would have been really cool to see Criterion put out some of their earliest spine numbers, put them back into print, like The Killer and Hard Boiled, which I think are in the first dozen of the Criterion spine numbers. That would have been really cool to see. Plus, Criterion would have done something really nice, like when they got Silence of the Lambs back. They did a really nice presentation for that, and I would have loved to see something like that. I would have loved to see what Arrow would have done with a large booklet again with some good reading. I'm a voracious reader. Something y'all may not know about me. I read every day. I read a lot. I'm a voracious reader. In addition to enjoying movies and drugs and alcohol, I love reading, and I love the writing on film. I love writing on film, especially when it's smart and not dumb like the shit that comes out of my mouth. Anyway, Shout Factory doesn't really do those. They don't really give us the booklets with the writing. We'll get some special features for sure. Maybe a weird, random kind of pinata filled with just who the fuck knows what's going to come out of this box set when you crack it open. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to buy it anyway. Full disclosure, I didn't dress like an asshole in a YouTube video so I could not buy the shit when Shout Factory releases it. The real concern here is not just the presentation, what they're putting together, and written materials. I think there's also some very real concern about AI upscaling after what happened with Wallace and Gromit's set. I mean, Shout hired an AI guy as the VP of acquisitions, for Christ's sake. So what do you fuckers expect? Of course they're going to use some fucking AI. So I'm really kind of worried about what that means for some of the cleanup of these films. If they're in a rush to get these movies out, released on the shelves to collect our money, does that mean we're going to see some AI bullshit and motherfuckers on the internet are going to get upset? Maybe. Motherfuckers on the internet might get upset. I mean, they could come to my house with The Killer taped to a baseball bat and hit me in the nuts with it, and I would still pay them $100 for it if it came in 4K. And I'm getting the posters too. I don't usually do this with the Shout releases, but I'm gonna get that shit early. I'm gonna get the fucking posters. My wife is gonna be like, "Why you got fucking posters of Chinese men with guns up on the fucking wall? We got 2 daughters. What are we trying to do? It should be My Little Pony." And I'm gonna say, "Shut up, fuck My Little Pony. Puh, fuck My Little Pony. I ain't putting up no My Little Pony, motherfucker. This is Chow Yun Fat. I want my daughters to learn. I want my daughters to recognize, motherfucker." So holler at me. Let me know. Are they going to take so much of your fucking money this year as well? Are you excited? Do you have are you like sporting a toothpick right now as you watch this? That would be cool if you put your sunglasses on and popped a toothpick in and was like, "Yeah, motherfucker, I'm gonna go get the fucking Killer. I'm gonna go get fucking Hard Boiled. I'm watching them shits with my whole fucking dick out because that's what I'm gonna do." So I think that's what you should do. And I think that you should go find a mirror, give yourself a big old smooch for watching this fucking video. I appreciate you, motherfucker. I'll see you next time. Peace, dog. Fuck it, I spit that toothpick.